that. So after we come out of this meditation, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you, I have questions that I want to ask you. And this is going to be the moment where you can say your answers out loud. You can write them down. It's totally up to you what you want to do. But I'm going to ask you to open your eyes in a soft gaze. And what I mean by that is when you come out of meditation, you're going to be sort of like in and out a little bit, and I want your gaze to be really softened, like you're just seeing the glow of the candle on your paper, that type of soft. Because when we can stay in that place and I ask you questions, these prompts, the first thing that comes to your mind is the right answer. It may not be what you want to hear. It may not be what you thought was going to come up, but trust in the process and that this is going to be the right answer. Okay. And this is what I want you to write down or share. I don't want you to overthink. Okay. All right. So let's begin and let's all take a deep breath in and out, and let's just hear it. It's okay if we hear your breath. And when you're doing that, just move your body around, move your shoulders, and switch your hips side to side. Get comfortable. You may be feeling you've been sitting a while. You may be feeling some tightness someplace. Just get comfortable, move your body, sway a little bit. While you're sitting, roll your hips around, move your upper body in little circles, whatever that feels to you. Just allow your body to loosen and relax. Breathing in and out. And remember, it's okay if you happen to get really sleepy, that's fine. And you know what? Another thing, if you feel like I'm not going into meditation, this is not working for me, you have all these thoughts, because a lot of times when we settle our mind, that's what happened. Tons of thoughts start coming into my mind. What I want you to do, and the easiest thing, is when a thought comes in that you don't want, just don't push it out. Just say, okay, let it go by. Just like it's just floating by like a balloon, just really quick in the wind. Just floats by, floats by. Do your best not to pause. All right, as we're breathing in and out, we're going to use our imagination. And as we start with an opening prayer, I want you to imagine that there is this beautiful white light that sits right at the center of your chest. And this white light belongs to you. It holds the essence of who you are, holds your story. It holds your feelings and your emotions. It holds your memories. Allow it to even hold memories of your loved ones in spirit if you'd like to bring them into the space with you. And as you continue to breathe in and out that white light at the center of your chest, I want you to imagine that it is getting brighter and it's beginning to expand. And as it expands, I want you to imagine that it is beginning to connect in with each woman, including the women that are online with us. It's including everyone that's in the space. Our lights just connecting in with one another. And imagine that we're forming a circle. And as we're forming this circle, I want you to imagine this connection that you have with every woman in here. And collectively, we take this energy, we bring it up to the center of the space. We allow this energy to expand and to hold us in circle. Now, starting with the top of your head, right at your third eye between your eyebrows, I want you to imagine this beautiful purple light right at the center of your forehead. And this light is opening your third eye. It's allowing you to connect in with yourself, with your intuition. I want you to imagine that this light now is traveling and it's going down into your throat chakra. It's opening the space at your throat to allow your voice to be set free while we're here in this safe space. And now we're moving further down into our heart, opening your heart as wide as you'd like. Whatever feels safe for you. And now just a little bit more. Just push it out just a little bit more. A little bit out of your uncomfort zone, your space that's be a little bit vulnerable. I want you to be a little bit vulnerable tonight. Dropping down with this light right at your belly. Going down. Imagine this light passing your female organs, whether you have them or not. Just imagine this light is going through and filling your womb, your space of femininity. Now this light is going down into your root chakra. So imagine it's coming out of your portal. Your vagina is your portal. And imagine it's coming out of your portal and it's grounding itself right into the ground. And while we're all sitting on something comfortable, I want you to imagine that this light goes even deeper. And it's going all the way down and connecting in with Mother Earth. As you continue to breathe and sitting comfortably, tonight we're blessed with the Pisces full moon, which so happens to be a lunar eclipse. This is a celestial event that holds significant spiritual implications for our growth and transformation. I want you now to feel this connection with Mother Earth. And as you do, I want you to bring the full moon into your awareness. To imagine what it looks like in your mind in the darkened sky. And as you have it right in your awareness, I want you to imagine this is a super moon. So this is when the moon is at the closest point to Earth. So her light is amplified. And so is her energy. It's amplified on our emotions and our spiritual energies. So during this full moon, you may notice a stirring of energies and emotions within you and around you. signaling that this is a potent time for introspection, for looking inward. It is a very important time for transformation. Deep down, it's time to let go what is not in your best interest. And this may be a relationship, it could be old habits, worn out beliefs, and especially things from our past that keep affecting the present. It keeps affecting us now. You may be finding yourself deep in old insecurities of doubting your worth, of doubting what you have to offer the world. You may even be doubting if what you're doing right now is actually making a difference to anyone. And you may be feeling like nothing is changing or shifting. You may feel like you are stuck in old doubts and fear. And things from the past that you thought you dealt with are coming back to haunt you. So I want you to continue to breathe and allow your body to relax. Right now in your life may feel like a spiritual stumble, even a dark night of the soul. There may be things that you're working with that's testing your faith. I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. And as I count down, I want you to allow yourself to relax even more. 5, just take a soft, gentle breath and relax your body. 4, if you're uncomfortable at all, just change position. 3, just allow your body to feel safe. 2, allow your body to feel heavier and heavier as you go down deeper and deeper. 1, your body is feeling so heavy at the moment, you're so deep, you're feeling so grounded. As always, full moon energy comes to provide so much beautiful growth, ladies, to truly help you get back into alignment. Allow yourself to connect in with your soul at this moment. Ask your soul to guide you on your pathway in this lifetime. Right now, as we're going through this lunar eclipse, eclipses are like compasses for our soul. Eclipses help to guide us on our path. So this full moon tonight is going to give you a glimpse into your future destiny. And this full moon is just a preparation point. You're going to be shown where your faith is shaky and what it is that you need to let go of so that you can begin to embrace your new future where you're fully connected to your soul self. Allow yourself to be divinely guided tonight, following your intuition and whatever whispers come to you, just follow them. One of the biggest things that you're being asked is to shed the old versions of yourself so that you can become more of who you are here to become. So, right now, look at where you don't love yourself. Where you don't trust yourself. Where you do not approve of yourself. Where you feel that you need to feel better and do healing work and release the thoughts and the beliefs that cause you to feel this way. If you can do this clearing on this full moon and release all in your life that no longer serves you, that's no longer in alignment, if you can shed some of the past and the versions and the layers of you that keep you stuck in these cycles over and over, if you can begin to trust in yourself and in the universe, you're going to not only feel the unique vibration of your soul self, but also that of the universe. So, this, ladies, is when we draw a line in the sand. We need to let go of something in order to bring something new in. And this might feel scary and uncomfortable. And this may be something you've never done before, and so it feels a little unknown. And it's okay. But this is where you need to lean in and have deeper trust and listen and follow that faint call of your heart and of your soul, knowing that it won't lead you astray. So this full moon's asking for big endings. I want you to think, feel, taste, smell. What are these big endings? What are these things in your life that must come to an end? What are these parts of yourself and these old behaviors? It's enough. You need to release them. These beliefs that are not serving you, these beliefs that are doubting yourself, that are making you feel like you are not enough, these beliefs that are making you feel weak, these things that you say to yourself in the morning when you look at yourself in the mirror. We need to let it go. Stop being so hard on ourselves. But there's a reason that you do this. Ask yourself, why? Trust me when I tell you, you are so ready. And when you begin to find this deep soul connection with yourself, lean on the universe to guide you forward, and your life will never be the same again. Tonight's the beginning. So, whenever you're ready, I want you to gently open your eyes into a soft gaze. But take your time, super slow. Really slow, begin to open. If you want to keep your eyes closed, you can as well and answer these questions out loud. You can answer these questions in your heart. How do you doubt yourself? How do you doubt yourself at work? How do you doubt yourself at home? How do you doubt yourself with your family? Maybe with your parents? How do you doubt yourself with your friends? What feelings are coming up for you? Go ahead and write it down if you want to just get it out. We'll just spend a few minutes on this. So where are you doubting yourself? Where have you lost your confidence? For myself, a lot of times I doubt myself as a mom. I think that that would surprise some people, but having daughters, three different ages, three different, three different, they're 10 years apart. So three different generations, right? 34, 26, 16. I doubt myself as a mom often because I feel like I'm mothering these different spaces that they're in. And I have to step back and recognize that it's not myself. It is the situation. So how many times are we doubting ourselves as mothers and instead taking the step back and looking at really what's in front of us, that we're the big picture of what it is that we're dealing with? How are we doing this to ourselves? How are we tearing ourselves apart when we're doubting ourselves? How are we doubting our gifts? How are we doubting the things that we are here to do in our world, even if we're 16 years old, right? Even if we're 60 years old, how are we doubting still? Because it seems as though it doesn't end, it just continues. It just turns and looks at something else. But I always feel like doubt is the silent killer of a woman's soul. And a lot of times we doubt because we don't feel safe. We don't feel safe to share our emotions, to share what we're feeling. We don't feel safe. So we doubt.
Sometimes I question if I'm doing enough.
Sometimes you question if you're doing enough. Yes. It's a very valid doubt. Yes. Anybody else want to share?
Question taking on too much.
You question taking on too much.
And something falling through the cracks.
Something falling through the cracks. So, right, there's some anxiety that's produced there, right? Mm-hmm. And it makes you question. And it's this feeling also of, you know, we have so many big plans in our lives. We want to do so much. And sometimes we take on too much, and sometimes we don't take on enough because we're afraid to fail if we take on too much. So it's like a fine line we move back and forth into. The floor is open. Liz, if you want to share as well, just chime in. You just have to unmute yourself.
Lost my train of thought. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's just a little low, but tell me.
I got you. Well, now I lost my train of thought.
You're good. You're good. We can all hear you.
Is it? I don't know.
It's okay. You could even type it in the chat if you think about it. I'll open the chat so I can see you. Anybody else want to share?
There's a delay.
No. You can just type it in the chat. Tell us about that.
For me, it's in my appearance. My personality, some question people, and I just get really relationships and my work. I struggle with, not feeling comfortable or have success.
Yeah, that's a lot, right? When we write it all down, Liz, I know that you couldn't hear a lot of what she said, but she talks about just a lot of doubt in different parts of her life, and when we write it all out, when we take a moment to just kind of flesh it out, it's like, damn, that's a lot of heaviness,
A lot of pressure.
a lot of pressure, and we are putting it on ourselves, right? And tonight, this new moon is like, no more. To be honest, it's like no more. Okay, and to the girls that work with me know that this is what I would normally say, and I'm just going to say it here. It's like, fuck this. You know, fuck it. We're done. Like, done. Right? Because the more we hold on to this and the more we doubt, the more we stay in this shell of who we are. And we don't grow. We stay stagnant. And that is not what we're here to do. You are spirit, first of all. You are a soul, and you are here to express that soul. And by being here with women tonight, this is your vulnerability space. This is vulnerable because normally women talk negative about each other. We don't talk nice about each other. And so when we can sit in a space where it's like women are open and listening, they want to hear you. It's like, let it out and release it. It's the beauty. And let your sisters in circle hold you in this space because that's what we're doing. So if no one else wants to share, if you do, go ahead and share. But we're going to move on to our next thought. Anybody want to share?
I feel like sometimes I'm too harsh on the people around me because I feel like I'm not sure how to say this, but I feel like I'm striving to be perfect, and I feel like, well, why aren't you striving for perfection as well?
Right. And the thing about us striving for perfection is that our subconscious mind knows you'll never achieve it because there's no such thing as perfection. Right. But we strive for it. And then we get mad when other people aren't striving for it. But the reason why we get mad when other people aren't striving for it is because we're looking in a mirror at these other people because we've given them an impossible task of being perfect, and they aren't going to be able to do it because it doesn't exist. Right. So when we see someone that's doing something like, why aren't they striving for perfection? We have to recognize, wait, hold on. This is about me. Right. So when we are outwardly projecting our feelings and emotions, the most beautiful thing you can do is pause and go, hold on. Why is this coming up for me? Why am I feeling this way? They are doing something that's bringing something out in me that I don't like about myself, that I need to work on. Right. So that's you're putting so much pressure on yourself that it's like oozing out of your skin. And it's like, and now you're putting it on everybody else. And that's super toxic. Right. But we do it all the time because we're expected to be perfect. I don't know who's making up these rules. Right. So let's move on because the next question I want to ask you is, what do you fear most? What is your greatest fear? If there is a fear that you can bring to the surface right now, what would be your greatest fear? Does anyone want to share? You might have three greatest fears. You might have a list. You might just have one.
Not being successful enough for my daughter.
Not being successful enough for your daughter. It's your greatest fear. I've been there. No. Okay.
How your fears change.
Your fears
As
change.
they grow.
Yes, as you grow. Yes.
So when I first started, I had a whole set of different fears.
When you first started with me, you had a whole set of different fears.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've overcome a lot of those.
Yes.
But other stuff comes up because now I'm finding who I really am,
Yes.
and I don't want to slide backwards.
You don't want to slide backwards because you're finding who you really are. And so the fear is that you're going to go back.
And there's goals I want to achieve.
Yes.
Sometimes it's easier just to sit and not take that leap.
Yes. Especially when you're comfortable, right?
Right. I don't want to fail.
Yes.
Not struggle with failure. But I don't want to. Also, I'm scared of success.
Yeah.
I don't want everybody looking at me or asking too much of me, and I can't give the accurate information.
Yes. Yeah, I've had that struggle a lot myself.
I have many plans and goals, and I've come so far, farther than I've ever come to achieve them.
Yeah, that's amazing and beautiful.
It's scary.
It is scary. Yeah, I understand that. I have a big fear that I'll share with y'all, and that when at the healing house, there is nothing. You will find nothing that says what I do. It just says Nicole Riley. It's like, who is this person? Or no one's paying attention to me. Either way, but that makes me feel safe. makes me feel unsafe to put psychic medium on my door or on my board. It's never going to be on the front window. That is something that really, like, I could get emotional right now talking about that. Like, that is literally, I'm like, I might be burned over here at the painted porch.
It's all the attention on you as an individual.
Yes.
Like the attention can be on you when you have other people like next to you.
Yes.
And you can be in that light.
Yes.
But when it's just about you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's another thing as well. And when you're looking at the board, like my name's at the bottom. But I feel that way also because that is also, like Dixie said, it's like my world, the healing house is about my girls.
Yeah.
And my space, right? But to be honest, there's a little extra something in there too. I'm trying to hide, right? So that's one of my biggest fears is that. And because I don't want to be judged, right? And that goes back to my childhood,
yeah.
Right? And when we go back and we uncover those layers and we go, oh shit, this comes from this deep embedded wound that I feel like in my childhood. And I try to like go back and like pinpoint it. And it's crazy because maybe you can do the same thing because I'm like, well, I don't remember being judged in my childhood. Like I really had a great childhood. Like so I know that it's not even the being judged part. For me, it's more like the being seen. I am very introverted. I like to hide. Like that's my personality, unless I'm doing this. Then I'm extroverted, right? So I know that it goes deeper into more of my psyche and my personality. But and I don't know that I'll come over that fear. And I'm honestly okay with that because there's a lot of other fears that I can work with. So you may not be able to overcome a fear of yours that you have, but knowing that it's present and why it's there is equally as important as overcoming it, because then we can work through all of the little pieces that are entangled in that. So I still don't have to tell everybody what I do, but maybe I could, be less introverted sometimes. Maybe I could not hide all the time because I make it very convenient for myself. Because then I've hidden so much that it's very easy to hide, right? And I will just literally be talking to someone and I will turn around and walk away from a conversation. And I do it all the time. My husband's like, you literally just walked away from them. And I'm like, I was done. She's like, that's not what you do. You don't just walk away. But I get like very uncomfortable. I'm like, ugh. And I'll just turn around and walk away. Right. And so I have to recognize that is part of the fear too. It's like, oh, we're getting too close to what I do. They're going to start asking me what I do. They're going to start asking me the things. And then I'm just going to freak out or just have to turn around and walk away or say something like, I own the healing house. And then I'll just say, yeah, okay. Yep, there's 9 of us. And let me tell you about the other 8. That's what I do all the time because that feels safe. So what are you doing? What's a fear that you have that maybe you are doing other things to make you feel safe so that you don't have to dive into the fear. You can look at it from that perspective too. Because a lot of times when we look at it from a different angle, instead of going, what are you afraid of? It changes the perspective. So what are you doing to not be seen? What are you doing to not be seen? Corbin, anything come up for you? No, that's okay. Okay, anybody want to share?
So, when you first asked the fear, I did the same answer, losing my family, losing a loved one. But then listening to you and everybody, I have to say my biggest fear is being judged. And like you were just saying, what situations do we put ourselves in? With me, well, my wife is very extroverted.
Yes, your wife is very extroverted.
So me being the opposite, all the attention's put on her, so it's not put on me. And although it gets on my nerves, I think that's where I find the safety is not having the attention put on me because she's the center of attention.
Yes. And do you think too that sometimes, like when you spoke about that and you said, you know, she's the extrovert, I'm the introvert, and I don't want the center of attention to be on me. Do you think that sometimes, and I think we tend to do this, is like we get so, but we sort of put ourselves in a category and we're like, no, but she's the extrovert, so let her talk to them, and then they doing what they're told to do, what they're expected to do, what they feel safe in doing. And then you start to feel like you're disappearing.
Yeah.
Or you're in the back. And then you get further back. And then when you look at your life, you're like, hold on, literally now, everything's revolving around that other person. But then we recognize, hold on, I did that. Like there's a part of you, I do it with my husband who's an extrovert as well. There's a part of me that has trained him in a sense. You know what I mean? Like guided. No, you're the extrovert, you go. And then next thing you know, it's always about him. But it's like, how can it not be? Because I've allowed it for so long. Because I said that I didn't want it.
Right.
But now when I'm recognizing it, it's like, well, wait, hold on. I do want a little bit of that. I'm just curious if that's how you feel as well.
Yeah, because in the very first question you asked, I feel like I've lost my voice, like I'm not heard. And and I think that goes back to exactly what you're saying with putting myself in that category and just now I have to, accept and open my eyes to the fact that, I have to stop that.
Yeah.
And work on that.
And ladies, the hardest part when we make these decisions is that, like, for example, what Lori said. So now her choice is now, are you going to start to speak up? Well, when you start to use your voice and you haven't used your voice, the people that you're using your voice to, their first question is going to be, what's wrong with her? Why is she using her voice? Why is she saying her words? It's not going to be like, yay, Lori's using her voice. You know, that'll come from me, but nobody else. But it's like, yay, Lori's using her voice. It's going to be like, whoa, because it's foreign to other people. But if we recognize, okay, hold on, we created this because you have created your reality. No matter what your reality looks like right now, no matter who's in it, you can have the most narcissistic person in your life that is your person. You've created that. You've allowed that person in. You have created your reality. So when you start to try to change your reality, you're gonna bump up to resistance.
Right.
It just happens, right? So this is the energy, this is the time right now, the next few days, to really use your voice, to really start to come out, to drop the shadows that you're carrying with us, to use your voice. But using our voice doesn't mean that we're a bitch, and that's the way we speak. Using our voice is saying our words, and they can come out as gently and as beautifully, but you just have to say them, right?
I feel like that's how I am in my relationship now. Like in the beginning, I was obviously younger, and I've allowed it to like shape who I was.
Yeah.
And now that I'm using my voice, it's kind of like,
You're pushing back.
well, who are you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, that's right. And you're going to be asked, who are you? And it's not going to be easy because your answer is going to be, I don't know. You want an answer, but I don't know who I am. I just know that I can't keep being this person. That's what I know to be true.
And the goal is to constantly evolve. You're always going to be changing. That's what life is about.
Absolutely.
and I feel like sometimes I'm scared to change because I don't want to not be for them.
Yep. Because we have become something to other people. When we change, that role changes.
Yeah.
Do you see, and I know that you see this, but we're just going to point it out. Do you see how that one question has like had this like tripled effect of like going, wait, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here. These are the kind of questions you need to ask yourself all the time. When we ask ourselves the deep questions and they're just straightforward, what are you afraid of? Right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. What parts of yourself? So, where have you been neglecting yourself? Where have you been neglecting? You're not doing anything for yourself, or you're used to do something for yourself, or you haven't done something for yourself in a long time. Not, oh, I need to go to the gym. Nope. It might be true if you really did go to the gym, but where you're neglecting yourself deeper than that, like, are you just is your soul like, hey, let's go out for a walk? You're just feeling that urge, let's just go out for a walk, and you're like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, that's where you're feeling a pull and you're refusing to go. Let's go to that part of neglecting ourselves. Liz, did you want to say something? Liz has been chatting with me and I didn't see it. Liz says, being misunderstood, put in a box, judge without knowing my heart. Yes. And putting out everyone else's fires before dealing with my own internal ones. Yes. Right? Don't we do that? We're the fixers and we're the doers. And we're like constantly like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And then we're exhausted and we're not paying attention to ourselves. And this is a great segue into the neglect. This is a way that we neglect ourselves. We do it all the time. Does anybody want to share? Liz says she's not chasing her own dreams and she's trying to please everyone else. I didn't realize she cut hair.
I would love to. Am I on mute? No, I'm not on mute. I know. That would be fun.
She said it would be fun. Anybody else want to share? Okay, let's move on to the next question. This is something that I really okay. All right, I'm going to ask you to be really vulnerable right now. And I want you to tell everyone if you're up to it. If you're not, just put it into your mind. What are you? It doesn't have to be your profession, it doesn't have to be your role in life. What are you really, 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 really good at? What are you really good at? I am really, 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 I'll tell you this. I am really, and Victoria actually helped me to find this about myself. She does something called soul realignment and with Akashic Records. And she helped me to find this about myself. And I never, ever, ever would have put a name on it, ever. And she's like, she says, Nicole, your gift is creating beauty and creating communities. And I was like, and my whole life, I'm like, I guess I'm a medium and a mom and a wife. And like, I'm trying to find all these roles. And when I have the chills right now, just thinking about that. When she said, you're here to create beauty, girls, just last night, I was like, I walked downstairs and I was like, I should be a web designer. I just created this whole, my husband and my daughter were like, oh, here she goes again, right? I should do houses and I should, and I'm like, Dixie, let's
We could
do
do that.
Let's do this. And I love creating beauty and I love creating communities. This is like, like fills me up. I would have never known that about myself. I would have never known that that was a purpose that I had it not been for Victoria. So thank you, Victoria. Tried to drill it in me a few times. So I would go to her and I'd say, I'm not sure this is going on. She's like, that's not part of nope, that's not communities. That's not beauty. Nope, you're not doing that. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's great to have somebody. Oh, with love. It's great to have somebody right down the hall from you that can tell you this. But truly, it's like we have to think out of the box here. Okay. Like you might say, you work here at Tribe and you might say like, oh, my gift or the thing that I'm really, really good at is cutting hair. And I'm going to have to call bullshit on that and say, I highly doubt that is your greatest skill. Your greatest skill might be that you love to be around people, and your greatest skill might be that you love to just love on people and share love and give love and hug people and be like all up in their business. Like that might be what you like to do. And that might be your greatest gift, right? But it's not cutting hair. Cutting hair is a means to be able to share that gift with the world, right? So what do you feel is your greatest gift? Like we need to know that. You need to know that. Who wants to share? I feel like Amber, I feel like you need to share.
I too.
Oh, tell us, Susan.
Went to Victoria, and she also told me that one of my gifts was community as well.
Beautiful.
I don't think I'm very good at creating one.
Creating community. Yes.
Member of it.
You are good at being a member of a community, Susan.
I
love that.
And I do that by making people feel heard.
You do make people feel heard. That is very true. And that is what you do for your work. She's a coach. Coach, yes, for Chevron. Yes, she is. And for me. Amber, tell us.
So at first, making others feel good, instilling confidence, and making others grow. And as you spoke, I kind of rethought it, and it's really making others feel loved and cared for.
Yeah, yes. So it's right. You moved into like what you do. So you're an esthetician. So it's like making women glow, and we do that. We put like being with women and making them glow, making them feel so good about themselves. And you're like, no, that's what I do, but that's not what I do, right? You're there when women are there. You are holding space for them. You're making them. You are putting your energy into healing them, and just paying attention to them and giving them love and softness and all those things.
And our career choice that we're natural healers, where it's like other than doctors, we are physically in contact and touching and feeling with our guests,
Yeah, for sure.
It's like being a conduit of bringing in positive
Being a
energy
conduit
and
of
love,
positive
and
energy,
then releasing anything else. Like
yes.
I actually, I imagine the bad things coming in from this side, and I told her good things.
Oh, I love that. So you're letting it in, letting it out. I love that. That's important, girls. You got to let it out. Anybody else want to share? Okay, Renata.
It's hard to say stuff like this because it's almost, you don't want to sound conceited or, give yourself some phrases or anything, but,
Yeah.
so, but I'm gonna be honest, and, I help people find joy and be comfortable with themselves.
You help people find joy and be comfortable with themselves. Yes, you do.
It's just, that comes natural.
It very much comes naturally. Yes. I agree with that. I love that.
It's hard to find it yourself.
It is hard to find it yourself. That's right. Yes.
Mhm.
Anybody else want to share?
I don't really know how to say mine
Okay.
because it kind of sounds.
It doesn't sound like anything because this is a vulnerable space. You can say whatever you want. No one's judging you.
I kind of feel like I'm good at like being the organizer, telling people what to do.
Yes.
Like whether it's at work or like at home with like, it's gonna sound weird, but like designing my space.
Yeah.
It's like putting
Creating
everything
the
together,
environment.
creating the environment.
Okay. So you said, and this is what I want you to hear what she said. Can y'all tell me the first 3 words that she said? Organizing. Anybody else heard the first 3 words that came out of her mouth?
I think
She said, I kind of think. I kind of think. First of all, she didn't say, I think. She said, I kind of think. So we talk to ourselves and we say this all the time. It's not just you. I'm just using you as an example. We say this all the time. I kind of think because we know that she's in a vulnerable place. She doesn't really want to throw her ego out there. She doesn't want to say what she thinks. I'm great at this, right? But when we continue to say, I kind of think, we're diluting ourselves. When we say, I think, you've just diluted yourself. Because are you thinking?
Or you know.
Or are you feeling? Or do you know? Right? Do you think? Do you feel? Do you know? So whenever you say something like, she said, so I'm going to ask you. So you said, I kind of think that I can create beautiful environments. Right? Okay. Do you kind of think it?
The reason I say that is because I'm still like figuring out my position in that.
But how do you feel in your home that you created?
Great.
Okay, so you say, so could you say, I feel like,
I feel like I'm good at creating those environments and
you're good at creating beautiful environments. So,
not as beautiful environments such as the
Vibe.
the
okay, here's the
vibe.
thing. No. This is another thing we do. We don't need to explain it. You don't need to explain it. I can say, I talk to dead people. I don't think I do. I don't feel I do. I freaking know I do. Okay, so we have to own something in our lives. We have to find something that we own, that we can literally say we own, right? I've gotten to the point, but it took me a long time at 50, I have to think of the year, 53 years old, to be able to say, I am a good mom. And if my kids say that I'm not a good mom, shame on them, right? That's bullshit. And I'll call bullshit to them because I know that I am a good mom, right? We have to find things that we know that we own that belong to us, that no one can take away, right? So let's go back to the fear that I have. If I put my name psychic medium on a window and the town comes to me with torches and want to burn me, they can take that away from me and I can never be allowed to speak that again, right? Okay, that's my fear, right? Because I've owned something and it can be taken away, right? So a lot of times we don't want to own something because it can be taken from us. If we say we own it, we have just gotten really vulnerable, right? But until we say what we own, what we know to be true about ourselves, we won't live it. And when we don't live it, we aren't sharing it with other people. So you have beautiful talents and beautiful gifts. And that's one of them. When you own that and say, this is what I do, opportunities, the universe is going to go, wait, this is what Adriana does. Okay, let's give her opportunities to create beauty. How can we give her opportunities to create beauty? The universe responds to that, right? So we have to be really crystal clear on what that is. We can doubt. Sometimes we have to pretend, right? But the more we pretend, the better we get, and the more we own it, right? That's right. You just have to fake it till you make it. So anybody else? Does anybody else want to share? Anybody want to share?
What are you really good at, Corbin?
Calming people,
Corbin is good at calming people
like encouraging them,
and encouraging them,
giving advice.
giving advice. Nice. You feel like that's like a power that you have, like you feel like you can own that. Yeah. And when we find that peace and we can own that part of ourselves, it's finding these pieces like you're 15 or 16. 15. It's like growing into that space. And you know what? When you're 18, it might change. But the beauty of it is when you own that right now and you move and you pull your shoulders back and you own that this is who you are, it's like this is when you can see yourself being a therapist, being someone that helps people, right? And it gives you purpose, gives you something to look forward to. I love that.
She's 27.
Oh, thanks for sharing that with us. Anybody else? Okay. All right. So I have a lot of questions. We might not get to them all. I don't want to keep you here for too much longer, but I think that we need to go through this part right now. There's some very old habits and there's some old beliefs that are really keeping you stuck. And they could be old beliefs about yourself. They could be old beliefs that you're ready to let go of. Maybe there's even like religious beliefs. You grew up a certain religion and now you're like, I'm done with that. I mean, that happened to me. I can think of, there's a lot of different belief systems that I thought was part of who I was that I recognized it wasn't. It was part of my culture more than it was for myself. There are beliefs that you hold about yourself that are not true. Do you ever feel like people are talking about you or people are saying maybe like negative things about you, and then you approach them and you really find out the truth is that it's the complete opposite? Has that ever happened to you? Right? We can like get in our heads and like make up these stories and then it's the complete opposite, right? This is old habits. It's an example. This is self-sabotage. We do it to ourselves all the time. And a lot of times we do it when there's a lot of good in our lives. When we're like on a roll and we're experiencing having all these beautiful experiences, we can see the end goal of what we've been trying to achieve. We get to this place. And then in our minds, we start going back because there is this fear, subconscious fear that if we get there, everything's going to change. And it is. It's for the beauty and the good. But a lot of times we are so afraid of it that we start talking negative of ourselves or believe these things about ourselves. And a lot of it comes from our childhood traumas and our past. We just bring it up. It's just like little security blankets. Oh, I'm not feeling so safe right now. I'm going to bring up a trauma that happened to me when I was 13 years old. Right? It's subconscious. We don't realize we're even doing it. We bring these up and they come to the surface and they're in our minds. And it keeps our vibration going lower and lower. So, are there old habits that you need to release? And if there is, can you think of any right now? And you don't have to share them. If you want to, you can, but think of them. What do you need to let go of that you're continuously doing? What is something that you believe that you're so tired of believing because you feel in your heart is not true? Liz says she's ruminating in the past and she's doubting her gifts and she's doubting her worth. Yeah, that's what we do, right? It's got to stop. It's not serving you at all. You have to diffuse that, let that go. Anybody want to share anything? Okay. This one's a big one that I want you to really consider. And that question is, what relationship do we need to let go of? That's tough. We all have them. We all have that 1, 2, 3 relationships with other people that is just bringing us down. What do we need to let go of? Who is this person? You don't even need to give an explanation of why this relationship needs to end. All of us have people in our lives that just don't belong. You know, and for some of us, maybe it's a very toxic relationship, or for some of us, maybe we've just outgrown the relationship. And it's nothing dramatic. No one did anything to anyone. It's just time to end a relationship. This happens all the time, especially as you evolve and you grow. You grow spiritually.
I feel like it's almost like I want to share, but I feel like I make my life so much about it that I don't want to talk about it anymore.
And the beauty of that is that you're aware, right? You're aware that a relationship has to end, right? So becoming consciously aware of it, and even just speaking right now about it, it's putting it on the table. What do you want to say?
Relationship with my child's father.
Yeah. And it's painful and it's all the things because there's so much involvement.
It's so comfortable.
Yeah, relationships can be really comfortable. It's very hard to let go of relationships that need to end but are comfortable.
And that you're tied to.
Yeah, and you're tied to. Yeah. Yeah. We all have them. I have friends that I've just outgrown. And it's very hard to be with them when you're not on the same page with truly anything in your life. You know, but there's something that connects us. So there's a feeling of having to stay in that space. But you recognize that you cannot be with this person for months and months and be totally fine. These are the relationships that we have to consider letting go of. So personally, I have, I've distanced myself in that I don't interact all the time because I was always the one. You want to go to dinner? You want to do this? Let's go here. Let's go on this weekend. Let's da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I always the one? And then when I stopped, it wasn't reciprocated. And I'm like, oh, it's like a stab in the chest because you're like, oh my God, I've been carrying this whole thing this whole time. It's like, oh, I've got to let this go. And I struggle with it. And I talk about it to other confidants, and I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it because it's really is hard to accept, right? So I know that you're feeling the same, a lot of us. So just feel into that. This new moon energy is like, it's not saying get rid of it, but it's saying, hey, we need to be aware because it carries burdens and weight on our shoulders. This is just another aspect of what's keeping us down. So we're going to do one more question tonight, and then we'll close. And the question tonight is this: what specific endings or changes do you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you have to make right now so that new beginnings can align with your soul's evolution? So what has to be let go? What has to change right now? Because you know what? If it doesn't change, I'm going to be in the same place I am next month. Because if we don't let go of shit, we can't bring new things in. We can't bring in the beauty of newness into our space if we're holding on to the heaviness, because we don't have room for everything. Does anybody want to voice anything out loud?
Mine goes to what we had talked about, and I put, I have to stop living in the shadows and step forward in the light.
Stop living in the shadows and step forward in the light. What does that mean to you exactly?
To build my confidence, my self-confidence, believe in myself. Don't worry about being judged and step forward.
Yeah. Do you feel that's going to be hard?
Yes.
Is there any specific thing that comes up for you where you're like, okay, and to do that, this will be the first step? I know you did. You almost said, I think.
Honestly, I feel I have to have confidence in myself.
Yeah.
That's the first thing, is build my confidence.
Okay, I'm going to challenge you again.
Okay. Wasn't good enough answer.
Wasn't a good enough answer because we keep saying, and this is what we do, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful example. We keep saying, well, I'm gonna do this, and then like, how are you gonna do? I'm gonna build my confidence, and I'm gonna, feel better about it, and I'm gonna. But the reality is, you're not. Because in order to build confidence, you have to do something to make you feel confident, right? So could it possibly be that for now on, you're going to say, you know what, I really don't like when this happens, or I really don't like feeling like I'm put in the corner, or I really don't like when you speak over me. Like, is there anything that you feel like you could do that would allow you to use your voice?
I have nothing right now.
Do you notice that you couldn't even speak?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just received your answer. I was watching you, right? That's the beauty of diving in. Anybody else want to give it a try?
Stop procrastinating.
Stop procrastinating. And how will you do that?
I feel like I'm always waiting for things to come to me. That way I don't have to step outside my comfort zone.
Okay. And so how will you change it? So let's go deeper. So you said, I'm waiting for things to come to me so that I don't have to step out of my comfort zone. So how is sitting on your ass, waiting for things coming to you working? It's not working. So how can things change? Number one, you have to what? Get off your ass. Just going to help you with that one, right? So number one, we have to, in order to stop procrastinating and stop waiting for things to come to us, we have to recognize I am literally being lazy about this. I'm being lazy about my life, right? So it doesn't mean, so then it's like, okay, what do I do, Nicole? Do I stand up all the time? And I was like, I'm not sitting down. See, universe, I'm standing up. No, it's about moving your body. It's about going for a walk in the afternoons. It's about being open to receive. It's about bringing energy into your life. So, how can you bring energy into your life through your body? Something that you really love to do. Is there something that you really love to do?
I used to paint a lot.
Yes. Did you love to do it? Okay. You're moving, you're imagining, you're bringing that in. This would be a beautiful way to stop procrastinating, because we're just like Lori was saying, I want to stop doing this. We'll never, or start doing this. We're not going to just walk out the door and go, no more procrastinating for me. It's done. Throw it away. We have to come up with other ways that brings us joy, things that we do that bring us joy, and that we're moving our bodies, and then the procrastination goes away because we're happy, because we're joyful, because we're expressing ourselves, right?
I just grew up in a family that was like, so you need money to do everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I don't have enough money, I can't start the things that I want to do.
Right.
So I'm trying to like break that. Money was such a toxic relationship in our household.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like what I'm trying to break through.
Yeah. Well, knowing that is the first step. Knowing it, being aware of it is the first thing, right? So now it's like when you're ready to go get your art supplies, maybe what you can do is say, hey, everybody at Tribe, if anybody has any art supplies that they're not using, bring them over. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so that you're not spending money on art supplies because and you just broke a pattern right there by asking for what you need and for not worrying about the cost. And people are giving you something, right? Because they love you and they want to see you grow. So we can change these patterns in our minds. We just have to think out of the box and how we're going to change them. But it always involves you actually physically doing something. Anybody else want to share? Liz, you said stop living in fear of judgment and find your spark again. All right, sister, you got to write deeper than that. You got to tell me what you're going to do. Like, what's the next step? Right? Anybody else?
Baby steps are okay.
Baby steps are huge because they're not really baby steps. They're seen as baby steps, but first steps, I always say the first step is a beautiful step. The second step is astronomical, right? Taking one baby step. Tonight can be considered a baby step by just putting the thought in your mind. Thank you, Miss Susan. Always encouraging. She's like, oh, Nicole got a little too demanding. Let me just back it up a little bit and say baby steps are good. What about you, Amber?
I felt raising my voice and asking for what I want to be.
Yeah.
And desire.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, make more space for self-love.
Who do you need to raise your voice to? Okay. And where do you need to create space? In your environment? In your relation, in your emotions?
I think all of it.
Mhm.
I think I lost my divine feminine a long time ago in this relationship because I've had to be masculine and
Yes.
supporting, and it's just been a lot of weight on me.
Yeah.
And so I put my partner crystal. Just to take care of myself before.
Anybody else in here does that? Just raise your hand. You do that too. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is why we have each other.
And this is why we have each other. Yes. We do. And I say that just so that you know that you're not by yourself in that space. And a lot of us have created very feminine men that came to us feminine, but we have nurtured that feminine part of our partners because we were most likely wounded as children and felt like we had to rise up and be bold and take care of ourselves and take care of the people around us and do the things. And we were taught as girls, we move from this environment of like, no, you stay home and you take care of the kids, of like, what are you going to do? Who are you going to be? How much you're going to make? Where are you going to go? And so we're like, and then we still have everybody else that we're taking care of in our world. Right? So it's understandable why we put ourselves in these places. And when we start to look up and find the divine feminine in us, we recognize that she's there. Yeah, it's a rude awakening, isn't it? So, how do you feel that you can take a step?
Really space for self, like I have to get back to those practices and create boundaries.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's also creating like a physical space? Do you live alone? So do you feel like because sometimes we need to literally create a physical space for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm living in one bedroom, 4 animals.
Oh, that's a little tough living in one with one bedroom and 4 animals. I understand. I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, no, I feel like I've been working so hard to build my house so that we can spread out and I can have that space. And
Yeah.
coming to things like this is great.
Yes, it's beautiful. Anyone else? Good.
I got my own apartment to create that space.
I love that. That's right. Okay, so let's all put our pens down and just relax for a second. Just let the air out that you've been holding. And let's just breathe. And if there's any feelings inside of you that you just feel like, just gonna let that go, just now's the time. Let it go. Let the air out. Any place that you feel like you've been holding this energy, you've been holding tight, just let it go. Breathe. What I want you to imagine you're doing is that you're bringing all of this energy and you're going to do it for the tribe. So, all of us together in unison. We brought a lot of energy into this space, a lot of things that we're ready to let go of, and we want to diffuse. So, I want you to imagine that you're helping your sisters, you're helping all of us, you're helping yourself, you're doing it for you, but you're also doing it for the women that's in circle with you. And you're taking this energy and you're bringing it in collectively, pulling it together. And I want you, at the count of 3, we're going to diffuse this energy and we're just going to push this energy down into Mother Earth. And here she is, beautifully accepting this energy. So let's gather it up, bring it to the center. Just diffuse, put our beautiful feminine energy into this. If you want to spread your hands out, feel the energy that's in the center of our circle. And at the count of 3, we're going to grab hold of it and we're just going to shove it down and bring it down. So 1, just grabbing hold of this energy that's above us. It's in our circle. 2, we're just shaping it into our hands. And 3, let's whoosh and push it down. And we're pushing it down into Mother Earth. And here she is, beautiful. Just taking in all of this energy. And she's saying, I've got you. I have got you. I've got all of you. I'm taking it in. I'm diffusing it. She's pushing it even further down. Letting go of this energy. I want you to feel your shoulders. I want you to feel the looseness. You're no longer carrying the weight. And now I want you to remember we brought our energy, we brought our lights together. And I want you to gently, really gently, just imagine you're bringing your light back into yourself. But as you do, this light has been purified. It has been cleansed. It is no longer connected to anyone in this space. It is no longer connected to Mother Earth, Father Sky. This energy belongs to yourself. It's beautiful. It's been recirculated, recycled. It's this gorgeous energy that you created tonight. And you're bringing it back into yourself. And I want you to imagine that you're bringing this beautiful light back into your heart space. And maybe you want to bring your hands together, place it at the center of your chest. Breathing your energy back in. It's new, it's recirculating. It's beautiful. It's going through your bloodstream. It's shape shifting your DNA. It's changed something within you tonight. I want you to put a smile on your face. I'm feeling the love of self first. You did this tonight for yourself. You showed up. You came here. You gave the time to yourself. This is so beautiful. Breathing in and out. Whenever you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and come back. Beautiful. Our circle's now closed and ended. Thank you, Liz, for being with us. Hi. She's precious.